I used to be internet famous. It's so dumb to even say that. But I had one of the best blogs in the whole wide world. I was the top of the Ad Age Power 150, for whatever that meant back in the day. I had 300,000 followers on Twitter when it was Twitter and not run by a stupid Nazi. I had a lot of stuff going like that. I was popular. I was an influencer before they had that term. And I'd get flown places and all that kind of stuff. And I'm over it. One, it went past me. Like, there's other influencers out there and my hair's not the right color and I've got too much whisker. But I wanted to talk about how I'm going to change who I am in this next half of my universe. And I'm going to talk about a lot of the mistakes I made on the way to that, because boy, did I make some mistakes. Instead of what I could have done, I started trying to do it again. Like, I had all my old successes. The way I got all my old successes was I put out lots of information. I was super prolific. I always had something thoughtful to say. I had ideas that other people weren't sharing. I didn't follow the crowd. I certainly didn't do what the other people on either side of me were doing. And then I thought this last year, I think I'm going to start a new YouTube channel, this channel. And I put it up. I was all around a passion for photography. And the passion for photography was not so, like, if you want to pick a niche, this is not the one to make a whole lot of money in, that's for sure. Now, some people eventually get sent gear deals where they get invited to review free stuff. Who doesn't love free stuff? But I knew that I wasn't necessarily heading in that direction as such. And as time went on, I started, like, last year at almost this time, when I started buying some of the stuff that I bought a bunch of things, sold a bunch of things, bought a bunch of things, sold a bunch of things, had tons of things, had a stack of cameras and stack of lenses. And now I'm down to almost one body. I have a camera body that's like my real one, and I've got my kind of put it in my pocket camera, and that's it. Well, 2 film cameras, but let's not be weird. In the process of this, I slipped like an addict. I slipped. I started doing stuff other people were doing on their photography channels. I copied the popular formats. My new channel that I started, my best performing videos, one of them is about the Sony a6000. Is it still good in 2025? You've seen a post like this on every photo channel the world has ever created. But I'm not exactly a photo channel, am I? And if you've watched more than 2 of my videos, you're probably not here exactly for photography. Maybe you're like me, you're kind of a glancing person in photography who also likes to connect with others, who thinks community is interesting, who feels like there's more to this than just shooting the pictures and buying the gear. But I slipped, I slipped just like an addict. And I say that to say, next thing I know, I started watching the how to grow your YouTube channels and make sure that you have this thing right and make sure you have these hooks. I mean, I was watching this guy. I took all kinds of screenshots about how to do the golden approach to hooks and how to make sure your visuals match what you're going to say, and that you make sure the first 30 to 60 seconds is the most important part, and blah, 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 blah. It makes sense in the sense that if we're going to package something for consumption, there's certain rules we have to follow. But what it doesn't make sense in is that your goal? Is your goal, I really want to grow a YouTube channel? Or is your goal, I want to connect with people that I think have similar mindedness? If it's B, you can't just go running around chasing the trends, because then you're talking about what everyone else is talking about. And that's not how I got successful the first time around. Why would I try that this time? Copying other people is so boring. Inspiration from other people, fine, but copying? Oh, boring, boring, boring. I'm done with all that. Instead, let me tell you, the whole plan. Conversations, ideas, experiments, the things that I like to do, observations that I've made, and the connection that I can have with you, interactions, back and forth, sharing, projects like we've talked and done in the past, whatever will keep you coming back for something of value and something that, you know, you feel like having your coffee with or eating your lunch with, not chasing the larger thing. I don't want the big thing. I don't care. It doesn't matter to me. I write books. We haven't talked about any of my books. I am just about to put out a new one. First one since 2015, I think. 2015 was the last time I put out a major official book. I think I have a couple since then that were not mainstream. Because I have, some of my stuff I self-publish, some of my stuff I don't. But in the process, all the way through, everything I've ever done that I've ever been online since I was a wee one was all about connecting with people that had similar mindedness. When bulletin board services, way before there was even internet, you had to dial into a bulletin board service. When those were around, I would dial into, with my 1200 baud modem, someone's bulletin board service to have arguments with people about Star Trek versus Star Wars. And we don't have to have that argument because everyone knows Star Trek is better, but Star Wars is more interesting. But those conversations, those interactions, talking to people about stuff they're super into, that's what we're here to do. I refuse to follow the algorithm anymore. I'll still make thumbnails, but I'm gonna make them to kind of make fun of the people that make those thumbnails. I'll put those shocked faces. I didn't know what my camera could do. Or whatever, I don't know. Who knows? And will I talk about gear? Yeah, but I'll talk about gear from the perspective of gear that I like using and why I like it. I bought this very inexpensive 35mm lens called Gear, which is a brand, as far as I understand, you can correct me because I am probably wrong. I think Gear is sort of the parent brand that owns a bunch of these Chinese lens companies now. TT Artisan, maybe 7 Artisans or whatever it is. Like a few of those, not Viltrux, maybe Viltrux. Gear 35mm f1.4. Why am I telling you about this? Not because I'm going to sell it. I'll put a link to it. You can buy it if you want. But not because I'm going to sell it, but because it's a fun lens. It's a very, very inexpensive lens. I think it was sub $100, brand new. Not even a vintage like I've talked about in some of my other videos. It's exciting. It's fun. It's a good, I have not shot 35mm yet. I've shot wider than that and I've shot longer than that. We could talk about that sort of thing, but only in the fact that it's something I'm interested in, something I'm passionate about. And we could talk about all the things that make us feel a little better, make us feel a little connected, kind of make us feel like we're in the same circle. That's what I want. I'm not going to chase it anymore. I'm not chasing the algorithm. I'm not chasing very specific YouTube growth or any of that stuff. I'm just going to work to keep you entertained and keep you connected to this. Good time as any to ask you to subscribe if you haven't. This is a good jumping on point. And I'm grateful for everyone who's been here since all of this got started. And I'm grateful for people who've known me for years who come back and go, well, that's weird. That's what Chris Brogan's doing? It's not what I'm doing, but it's a thing I do. So I just wanted to have this talk. I've been thinking about it for such a long time. And my whole flight back and forth to the UK, I put up that video about the photo vlog, travel vlog that I did. I always hated the word vlog. I think it's going to be an opportunity for us to have conversations. So that's what I got for you. Good, bad, who knows? Stick with me. I'll talk to you soon. Be good to yourself in the meantime.